Please introduce yourself to us. Who are you and tell us your story?
Thank you for creating this time. My name is Ash Canty. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm a Black, queer, anti-racist activist, anti-racism activist in our community here in Eugene, Oregon. And I am the founder of Sovereign Roots Apothecary, which is a place for Black and Brown people to come and connect and to work together and to have a place within this community that is white dominated. So that's kind of my role in my community. And I'm also someone who is dealing with multiple chronic illnesses on a daily basis. So I have of dysautonomia, which I have a form of dysautonomia called POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And that means my autonomic nervous system basically malfunctions every day. So the things that we think about, like, or we don't think about, like our breathing or our heart rate, or even just standing up, the amazing things our bodies do without us having to tell our body, my body does not do. So, for instance, just going to wash the dishes, my heart rate will go up to about 155 and keep escalating the longer that I'm standing because my blood isn't circulating correctly to my brain. And I get really dizzy and sweaty. And I'm about to like almost pass out until I have to like sit down or lay down. And that means like even going to the bathroom or standing up or doing laundry. My mobility has drastically changed because of my chronic illness. I can't go to the grocery store without my walker or without my wheelchair. I've never used a walker or a wheelchair in my life, and I went from being really mobile and hiking and biking and doing things that I absolutely love and really physical to being really bedridden. And when I do go out, having to have mobility aids with me so that I don't pass out, and that I don't get too dizzy and too symptomatic. So, yeah, a day in the life just looks like me waking up, and from the moment I wake up, I feel nauseous, and I feel dizzy, and I get an instant headache from the lack of blood flow, and I feel exhausted. So my doctor told me this great metaphor of basically every time I'm standing up, I'm running a marathon in the first minute. Um, and that's what it feels like because I was saying, oh, I feel so lazy. I'm so lazy because I'm so tired all the time. And he was like, yeah, I think you're tired because your heart rate is going from, 80 to 185 in less than a minute and then going higher. And so I feel a lot of fatigue on a daily basis, even when I get enough sleep, like it doesn't matter because of the dysautonomia. And the challenging part or the scary part that I'm still struggling with is that the symptoms change, and they can be different day to day. So I had an instance a week ago where I had a new symptom come up while I was driving a car, and it was shortness of breath, and I completely lost my ability to catch my breath, and it was very scary. And so, yeah, I've had to cope and figure out ways to help with that and navigate the healthcare system at the same time, which has been really hard. So some of the earliest things that I kind of told myself were okay, or kind of made excuses for, I would say, like, oh, that's just nothing, or that's normal, was that I would find myself standing in line, so at grocery stores or in supermarkets, and I would be standing in line for not very long, and I would get really hot, really uncomfortably hot, like almost like I had a fever. And I would notice my heart would race, and I felt really out of breath, and I was just standing, and then I would get really anxious. And I think something that's not validated enough with this illness and dysautonomia in general is that there is anxiousness and anxiety that comes up, but it's from the symptoms. I've had a lot of doctors say that I'm just anxious or I have an anxiety issue before I was diagnosed, which was really, really hard and difficult. And I thought, oh, I guess I'm just really anxious all the time. And it was actually because my heart was speeding up so fast, so quickly, that it was sending my body into this very shaky place. And I know people out there that are experiencing this and not getting validated by the healthcare system to say that, like, it is real. Actually, your body is experiencing this and it is scary. And because I don't want to pass out in front of people, I'm getting anxious. And so those are my first kind of telltale signs that something is going on, and I need help with it. So I've been someone who's been pretty athletic most of their life. I'd like to go on like 5-hour hikes, and I love being in the woods, and I love pushing my body to see what it can do. And I actually, right before I got sick, I got really into biking, and I was biking every day to work, to home, and back. And I saw it as a personal challenge. I've always been into like self growth and just seeing if I could do it and not using my car as much and polluting the environment. And so I just got really excited. And so my mobility was just, I was active all the time. And I didn't have to think about going to a place or not being able to last a certain amount of time. I was just doing what I was doing. I didn't know that I was also coping in a different way with those symptoms. And then for whatever reason, they got out of hand and spiked up from the excessive working out. Like something catapulted them over into overdrive. And that's when everything shifted, and I got chronic pain and joint pain, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I was really tired. And then I had all of these urinary tract issues that were really severe and nocturia, which means I was like getting up every night and going to the bathroom multiple times a night, wasn't sleeping, that I started to really lose my mobility. And I honestly didn't even have the energy to get up and walk 100 feet. And that was really a huge difference. And also caused a lot of depression. I'm not someone who experienced depression. Because I was so active, I felt like my mental health was really good. And then I didn't have access to the things I wanted to do anymore. And then I also was getting invalidated a lot by doctors saying that it's nothing. And so the combination of that and then just staying home and being bedridden really sent me to a really dark place and a deep depression.
What would be your advice for us if we were to create a care package for chronically ill patients? What should we put in that care package?
What's coming to me is care is the first thing. Like, what is care and what does that mean and what does that look like for me? And I think what I would like to see is a human care system and a human care package. And that would involve a lot of deep listening and understanding and really getting to know me as the patient, and who I am as a human being, my whole being. And then from there, kind of being able to have like direct access to my healthcare team. So being able to be in communication with them and have them respond and get back to me. And yeah, and I think like working through things together and being a team feels like it definitely is missing and something that I would want in my care package for someone to be like, I'm on your team. I want to work through this. Let's try this. Let's try this. That didn't work. Okay, let's try something else. Also, what works for you? Right now I'm trying to get, like, for instance, a supplement that really works for me that I figured out on my own, approved from my insurance. And in order for me to do that, my healthcare provider has to submit it. And it's been really difficult. And I don't feel very heard in that from the provider. And so I really, I guess I would want like a cheerleader or a champion to be on my team in that package and to really want the best for me to thrive. And I would also say that they would, yeah, just offer ideas and solutions and be okay to be um, wrong or not know.